Can you believe that we are already nearing the end of 2024? It feels like this year has just flown by, as it almost always does. What's new, I guess? Welcome back to my channel. My name's Marissa, and I like to talk about books and book design. Today, I'm going to be discussing the 10 books I want to read before the end of the year. My 10 before the end, if you will. We'll just go ahead and jump into it. I kind of have 3 categories. The first category being books that I've already started, I'm somewhere in the middle of, and I just really need to wrap up before the end of the year. The second category being from books that were in my 5-star predictions for the year. If you can believe this, I have not read all of them yet, so there's still a handful that I definitely want to get through. I will not get through them all. I selected the ones I was most interested in at the moment. And then our last category is just the sort of miscellaneous hangover books that I'm interested in picking up right now. So without further ado, let's get started. This first book is one that I am about a third of the way through now, and I am reading it for a video, so go ahead and get hyped for me. That would be wicked. I don't even know who wrote this. Gregory Maguire. Okay, Gregory. I am doing a little reading vlog of reading Wicked and then eventually going to see the new movie that's about to come out. I have never seen Wicked. I've never listened to it. I know literally nothing about it. So this is really exciting for me, and I think it's going to be a fun vlog. So stay tuned for that. Book number 2 is one that I am just a little bit of the way through, and that's not even really saying much because it is a thick book. If I get through this book before the end of the year, it will actually be a miracle. I'm going to continue reading it throughout the whole year and however else long it takes me, but I believe this book is over 1,000 pages. That would be 11/22/63 by Stephen King. I am reading that for the little library book club at the moment. We were feeling ambitious at the end of the year. Yeah, I'm just reading a little bit at a time, a little bit each day, and seeing how much I can chip away. I am reading it on my Kindle, so this is kind of my first time testing out the theory that it's easier to get through big books on your Kindle because you aren't so intimidated by like how much you have left. Unfortunately for me, I'm constantly checking the hours remaining, so it says I have 22 hours left. I'm sure at some point I will throw that audiobook into the mix too. I'm just on hold at the library, but I'm really enjoying it. That one it's kind of one of Stephen King's random books. It's like a little bit historical fiction, a little bit sci-fi. There's some time travel in there, and obviously it has something to do with the JFK assassination. It's always fun when you see Stephen King doing something other than horror. Obviously, that's kind of his bread and butter. That's what he's best at. But I always admire an artist, a writer, whatever you may have, that is willing to step outside their comfort zone, and even if it's maybe not as successful as their main works, it's just exciting. But I've heard this one's really good, so I'll be the judge of that, I guess. Next up is the book I'm reading for my in-person book club, and that is Just Kids by Patti Smith. I'm listening to this one as an audiobook currently, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm like just about at the halfway point. I think it's really nice having a memoir in the mix because I have everything else is fiction. So a girl like me loves variety. This is a memoir about Patti Smith, the artist, the writer, singer, songwriter, her youth living in New York City back in like the 70s, I want to say, maybe 60s to 70s. I don't actually know how like far of her life the book's gonna span, but we'll see because I am gonna read it before the end of the year. This next one is ridiculous. If I don't finish this before the end of the year, I'm embarrassed. I have been reading this one since August of 2023. Yes, you did hear that right. It has been well over a year at this point, and that is A Court of Mist and Fury. I am just about exactly halfway through it, and I'm enjoying it. I really love it every time I pick it up. I just haven't had the chance to like sit down and like fully be immersed in it, and I'm kind of tired of like reading it in pieces. Over Christmas break, I found is kind of my favorite time to read this. That's when I was reading it the most last year. I think when I'm home for the holidays, I'm just gonna fly through and finish her up. Please, for the love of God, I need to. Then we have here another book that I was reading. I have a lot of those. This was from a buddy read that I was doing with Emily from Once Upon an Emily Reads and Lori Beth. We all collectively gave up. That would be Emma by Jane Austen. I got through volume 1 of 3. And again, I was enjoying it. It was just a little bit slow and I had a lot of other things I was reading. It's a very good book and I do want to finish it. It would be super nice to finish it before the end of the year. I have so many books that I'm currently reading, as you can tell, and I need to like clear up my currently reading status before we go into 2025. And with that, I have one more book that I am in the middle of. That would be We Have Always Lived in the Castle. I started this one at the very beginning of fall, and I was saying like, this is gonna be the first book I read this fall season. I'm so excited. It's so short. And then I put it down. I'm like maybe 30 pages in. I was really enjoying it. And again, it does seem like it's gonna be a quick read. I got distracted by my vampire reading vlog that is still not done. That'll be done before the end of the year, but I'm just gonna stop giving you dates because it's a work in progress, okay? I'm sorry. Now, moving right along to the next category. As I mentioned, these are books from my 5-star predictions. So we got some high hopes here. What would a TBR video be on my channel if I did not mention Bunny by Mona Awad? And then, of course, mention it and not actually read it. That's kind of my thing. I seriously have been meaning to read this for so long. It's just like so highly anticipated for me that I am scared to actually read it. Scared that it's not going to live up to my expectations, but also scared of like not having something else that I'm so looking forward to like sitting on my shelf. But I just got to get it done. Like it's time. And then I can read the other Mona Awad books, which I'm also excited about. I'm sure we're all at least a little bit familiar with Bunny. I don't know the details either. What I do know is that it's at like some sort of school in New England, a little bit of like an academic setting, and we have the bunnies. The bunnies are a clique of rich, mean girls who do bad things. I don't know entirely what they do, but that's what I've heard. I know it's an unreliable narrator and the sort of book where you just can't really tell what is reality and what isn't. That's my perfect cup of tea. I really, really want to read her before the end of the year and see if she lives up to my 5-star prediction. These next two I have kind of been saving for winter because they just feel like winter reads. I'm excited about them. As I keep saying, oh my god, I'm just full of excitement. So this one is gonna be The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Every time I mention this one and the fact that I haven't read it, a million people are in my comments saying, you need to read that. I believe you. I do believe you. It's such a short one. It feels like a winter vibe. I anticipate that I'm going to be picking this one up pretty soon. If you don't know, The Perks of Being a Wallflower is about a high school boy named Charlie, and he's just going through a really hard time. I think he's dealing with depression. It says he's just going through the uncharted territory of high school, the world of first dates, family dramas, and new friends. Of course, sex, drugs, and the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I'm anticipating a good cry with this one, which I need that. I really, really do need that. I need something to just like let it all out. And I think that'll do it for me. The last one from my 5-star predictions is Book of Night by Holly Black. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews on this one. It doesn't seem to be a favorite of her books. I am a Holly Black lover, and I've been meaning to pick this one up. Who guessed I was going to say that? Or did you think I was going to say that? I was so excited to read it. Because I am. Oh, you bet I am. I'm being a little bit of a freak right now. Sorry. It's been a minute since I've sat down to film a video, so I'm just like being a little bit weird. Thanks for sticking with me. So this is Holly Black's first adult fantasy novel, and it is a standalone as far as I know. I know it has to do with like shadow magic. What I'm gathering from the description is that it's a like full fantasy world where there's a lot of political drama. Certain people in this world are shadowless. I don't really know what that means for them. There's terrible secrets, people fighting for power. I'm excited. In my fall TBR, I said I was going to do a reread of the Cruel Prince series. I, of course, did not do that. I got really overwhelmed in the fall just with everything, and I didn't have time for it. But there's another series that I am really wanting to reread. It's actually right here. This is not even included in my 10 before the end. I'm just side rant, okay? Who remembers this book? Who remembers this book? I loved this book in middle school so much. Like, me and all the girls were reading it, and we were all like, pss, 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 talking about our little Fallen Angel book. I've been wanting to revisit the series for a few years now. You know, in these trying times, that we are currently going through, I think I'm just trying to seek out some comfort reads, and I think revisiting something that I really loved in my youth will just feel like a warm hug. So there's a chance that I'm gonna scrap all of these 10 books and I'm just gonna binge this series. There's only 4, so hopefully if I do that, it won't take up too much of my time. If I reread the series, would anyone be interested in a little reading vlog? I don't know. I think it might be fun. If there's like enough people who like also enjoyed this in the past and you want to like relive it through me, maybe. Okay, I'm so silly. We actually only have 1 book left, and that, I guess, is the one and only book in the miscellaneous category. I guess I'm just not feeling very spontaneous right now. So the final book I would like to read before the end of the year is gonna be The Only One Left by Riley Sager. I have never read a Riley Sager book. I've been saying for a long time that I wanted to, just to like form an opinion for myself, because it seems like you either love him or hate him. I am someone who's really picky about thrillers. It does take a lot to impress me. You know, probably the most popular thriller writer right now. Does he do it for me? I don't know. Only time will tell. And I definitely want to read this one soon because my friend Kristen lent this to me. I obviously want to give that back to her in a timely manner. But she's read a few of his books and she said that this was one that she enjoyed the most. I have high hopes. And I also really love this cover. There's just something really striking about these 2 high contrast, like bright colors that makes me even more excited to read it, even though it has no effect on the actual writing. That's just the life of a graphic designer, you know what I mean? So there you have it. Those are my 10 before the end, and I'm looking forward to all of them. You might even say, I'm excited. I know I've been like pretty spotty with my posting recently. I've just been like very overwhelmed with all the things I need to get done before the end of the year. So yeah, I guess I've just been feeling a little bit burnt out, but I haven't stopped reading. I've been reading a lot. I've actually broken my own personal record for books read in a year. And it's only November, so that is really cool for me. And I can say without a doubt, booktube did help me increase the number of books I read. So thank you, booktube. With that though, I think I am gonna dial it back a bit and switch back to posting every other week rather than weekly. I just don't ever want this to feel like a burden because it truly is a hobby that I really love and enjoy doing. Sometimes when it's a weekly task, it can be overwhelming, especially because I have a lot of really fun video ideas, but they sort of take a long time to execute. But when I have to upload weekly, it feels like sometimes I have to upload like fluff content. It's kind of a disadvantage to both of us. You're not getting the best from me and I'm feeling burnt out. So we're just gonna pull it back a little bit. I'm still here. I'm still posting. You will get that vampire vlog eventually. If there's anything in particular you want to see from me before the end of the year, please feel free to let me know in the comments. I definitely will be talking about my favorite books of the year, but that's all I really have planned for certain. I won't be participating in any readathons this year because that did overwhelm me last year and I'm already overwhelmed. Thank you for watching. Thanks for sticking with me. If you want to hear from me in other places while I'm sort of being a little bit more quiet on YouTube, you can follow my bookstagram at Margins of Marissa. Hopefully I'll see you there at least. You'll see me here too. With that, I am signing off and hopefully I will catch you in the next one in about 2 weeks.